Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Landry and I'm a landscape nature photographer, and the reason that I wanted to create this YouTube channel was to not only share my love and passion for photography and behind the scenes of photography, but to also share a little bit more about me so you can get to know me a little bit better, because there are a lot of things that I love to do besides photography. So this is kind of a little behind the scenes and behind the lens of who Landry is. So whether it be being with family, going on adventures, my motto for this channel is to capture memories to remember and share for a lifetime, and that's what I want to do for this channel. So today I wanted to sit down with you guys and talk to you about one of the best nights I had. June 5th, 2024, I got to see my favorite artist, Mr. Niall Horan, in Charlotte, North Carolina at the PNC Music Pavilion. Little backstory. If you don't know me personally, I am a huge Niall Horan One Direction fan. I have been a #1 fan since day one. When they came together as a band in 2010, I was on the bandwagon. I was 10 years old, and I'm 24 now, so that's pretty crazy. I've been a Niall Horan fan since 10 years old. And I actually got to see him 2 times. This will be my 3rd time. This past time, but I got to see him with One Direction in 2014 at Charlotte, and I got to see him in 2018 when he released his first album as a solo artist, and this is my 2nd time seeing him solo. So a total of 3 times I got to see Mr. Niall, and I'm super thankful and I had so much fun. So I thought I would dive in to tell you about that night because it was amazing. So a little backstory. Niall, if you don't know anything about Niall, he is Irish and he was part of One Direction, and his 3rd album, The Show, came out in 2023. And when the Show album came out, he released that he was having a tour for 2024. And at the time, the Charlotte was not on the tour list. It was Raleigh was the closest to me in North Carolina, and Raleigh is 3 hours away from where I live. Charlotte is 1 hour and 35 minutes from where I live. So I was like, oh well, he's going to Raleigh. He's not coming closer, so I don't guess I'll go see him this go around. Then a couple weeks later, he released that he had bonus dates of tour dates, and Charlotte was on the list. So I immediately got excited and I went on the ticket site and I looked up tickets, and tickets were a little bit more expensive than they were the past 6 years ago when I went to see him. So I was like, I don't know if I want to spend that money to go see him, just because it was just super expensive, and I didn't know with it so far out, I didn't know if I would even be able to go anyway. So it kind of didn't cross my mind anymore. I mean, I knew whenever he was announcing his tour started, I knew it was coming up. He would eventually be here, but I just didn't think about it anymore. So back in May of this year, before Memorial Day, my favorite radio station I listened to it all the time, they had a commercial about Niall is coming to Charlotte, and I was like, oh yeah, that's coming up. And so I went back on, and still tickets were expensive, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Later on in the day, they had an announcement that they were giving away Niall Horan tickets, and I was like, what are the chances that I would get to know what will happen? If you don't try, you will never know the outcome. So I listened to the radio, and it told you how to do it, and it was like a 4-day thing, and you had to listen for a code every day, and then the next day, that Monday, they would announce the winner afterwards. So I did all that, and then Tuesday after Memorial Day I had to go to work, so I didn't listen to the radio that morning, and I didn't check my emails. I didn't do nothing. And then halfway through the day I'm thinking to myself, you know, that thing is over with, and I haven't got contacted, and I didn't listen to the radio, so if I won I probably wouldn't know, so I'm just gonna think that I didn't win, and it's like, oh well, you tried, there's nothing you can do about it. So later on that day when I got home from work, I got on my computer because I had to check emails, and I had an email from the radio station saying, congratulations, you won a Niall Horan. And I'm like freaking out because I think this is a joke. I think it's a scam pretty much. And I'm reading, sure enough, I won 2 tickets to go see Niall in Charlotte. So I immediately started freaking out. I almost cried because I was just in disbelief that my dreams were coming true, seeing Mr. Niall for a third time. So I was texting my mom and I was like, I won. And then my dad came home and I ran outside and I'm like, I won tickets. You want to go see Niall with me? And he was like in shock. He was like, what? And I was like, yeah. So needless to say, I got my tickets digitally, which was crazy. I don't want to get into that, but I've always had paper tickets, so the digital stuff was new to me, so that was crazy trying to set up an account, but I'll save the boring details. It was just challenging, but I got the tickets, and I immediately put a countdown clock on my phone, and I still have the countdown clock, even though I know the date has passed, but that was just one of those nights that I will never forget for a long time, and I want to remember that. So I have the little countdown clock. It says how many days it was since I was there, and so ever since from that point, for when I got the tickets, it was a week until I got to see Niall. So that was excitement. Wednesday, June 5th comes, and I went with my dad, of course, and we left at 4 o'clock because he had to work, so he got off work. We went 4 o'clock. We went to our go-to supper place, McDonald's. That's like the place we go for concerts because, to be honest, we don't go to Charlotte enough to know where anything is, so McDonald's is like the closest thing on the side of the road, other than there was a Wendy's, but it was hard to get to. So we always go to McDonald's, and I got my go-to concert meal, a quarter pounder with cheese with a large fry and a large Fanta drink. And we just ate that in the parking lot, but everything was going well. We got our food, perfect timing. Then we get to Charlotte. I-85 is not fun when it is rush hour. When it comes to around 5 o'clock, when traffic from people coming home from work, it gets crazy. I see it all the time on the news, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm so glad I don't live in Charlotte. So we were in the middle of that traffic. I got to see the skyline, which was pretty cool. I see it all the time on the newscast behind them on the TV. So it's pretty cool to see that in person again, and I got a picture. And we're just sitting, and we're sitting there, and it's like we're way far away from the exit we need to get off. And Dad's like, yeah, we might miss the first act. And it was Del Water Gap was the opening before Niall. And I had never heard of his music before. And I was like, no, we're gonna get there, because I didn't want to miss the opening act. So we finally get there, and we get to the PNC Music Pavilion. And when you get to the PNC Music Pavilion, parking there is always crazy because you just don't know what's going on. It's nothing but gravel lots, and it's crazy. So we finally found our parking spot. We parked on the F lot. So we got there, we ate our supper because we didn't want to eat there because we wanted to get there, and I didn't want to eat on the road because I don't really like eating on the road because I get sometimes I feel like I'm getting car sick, and I just don't like movement and eating. It's weird. So we ate in the parking lot. We got up to the gate, and the last 2 times I got to see him, the security checkpoint was like very crowded, and it just like took forever. The first time I went to see him, when I went to see One Direction, I had a bag and like a blanket and all that, so like it took a long time because they had to search everything, of course. The second time I went, we didn't take nothing, but I took my like wallet, just my wallet, my change purse wallet, and we got in super fast. This go around, because we had nothing because everything's digital now, we went in like it was nothing. There was no line. We went through, I think it took about 2 to 3 minutes by the time we got down there. That was the fastest I've ever been into a concert. Then we got there, and I forgot how huge the place was because it's just a big place, and I just remember going to my seat, and that's about it. So I wanted to get merch, even though it's super expensive, $50 for a shirt. I love you, Niall, but $50 for a t-shirt. And the other stuff was more expensive, but you know, I can't complain because all I had to do was pay $50 for a t-shirt because the ticket was free. So I got a t-shirt, and I love this one because it actually has the dates on the back. The past 2 concerts I went to, the shirt that I would pick out, they wouldn't have my size, they would be out of them. And so I was never able to get a shirt with the tour dates on the back, so this is the first shirt that I got tour dates. And I'm super happy about that, and I love the shirt. It's super cozy. It's not too thick or anything. It's like the perfect material for this summer hot heat. So I got my shirt, then we got to our seat. So about our seating, because we got free tickets, we were in the lawn section, meaning there was no chairs. The only way you could get chairs is you could rent them, or you could rent a blanket. Blankets were like, I think, $10 and chairs were $15, or vice versa. Anyway, my dad and I were not gonna do that. We just felt like sitting in the grass was okay because we were gonna be standing most of the time. So I got there and I found a seat. Like, I got as far back as I could because I wanted to see everything. And a cool thing about PNC Music Pavilion is when I went 2 years ago, because when I went to the One Direction concert, the first time I went, when my parents got me tickets for my birthday, we were in the lawn section, and the lawn section had no TVs. The only screens you had was like the stage and then a screen here and a screen here, like way up in the front. So at my One Direction concert, I couldn't really take pictures because it was far away. Now in about, I think I read it was 2019, 2020. It was like 2 years or a year after I went to see him a second time. They added flat screen TVs, 3 flat screen TVs to the lawn section. So if you're in the lawn, you can still take pictures, which was super nice. So there was no way you weren't going to be able to take pictures or videos because you had plenty of viewing points this go around. So I was super happy about that, and my dad's like, is this okay? Because like the lawn's like open, you can just pick wherever you want to sit. And I was like, I was on the left side and the far back, and I'm like, yeah, this is good with me. Well, center left, so to speak. So Delwater Gap opened, and I am now officially a Delwater Gap fan. I love his music, all the songs he played. The one song that really stuck out to me was Dollhouse. And let's just say that now that I've heard that song's on repeat. And the song about him being in a hotel at 3 a.m., I can't think of the name of the song right off the top of my head, but that's another song that's like on repeat now on my Spotify playlist. So, Mr. Delwater Gap, thank you so much for coming to Charlotte to open for Niall, and I really love your music, and who knows, maybe I will get to see you in concert someday, who knows. But I really enjoyed that music, and then there was a beautiful sunset behind us, so I was super excited about that because that was something on my bucket list. A concert plus the sunset equals an awesome night. So I didn't have a camera, obviously, because you couldn't take professional cameras in. You had to have you could only take a cell phone in. But some people had like I don't even know, like my vlog camera I probably could take in, but I just didn't want to risk it. So I just had my cell phone, and Photography Landry, as always, she sees something to take, she will take the pictures. So to pass the time between Delwater Gap and Niall, waiting for Niall to come, I was taking hundreds of pictures of the sunset sky, which was good because it was helping me pass the time, so I wasn't like, is it time yet? Then fast forward, Mr. Niall Horan comes to the stage, and one of my favorite songs is the opening song, Nice to Meet You, from his second album. And it was amazing, just amazing. I truly believe that live music is so much better than recordings because of the bass and everything. Oh, it was so great. Great. I was living in the moment. I was screaming to the top of my lungs. I videoed every single song. I was not missing a single moment because I don't know if I'll ever get to see him again. I say that every single time, but it's the truth. You just never know what happened. So I videoed every single song he did. And 3 or 4 songs into the concert, I am listening and I don't even remember what song it was. But anyway, these 2 security guards come up to me, and I'm the type of person, I'm trying to get better at this as I get older. But if like authority, like somebody of authority, like a security guard, if a police officer, just somebody comes up to me, I immediately like kind of get nervous because I'm like, what did I do wrong? I didn't do nothing. Like, I don't know, it's just an instinct. I get very uncomfortable. I'm getting better at it, but 2 security guards come up, and he was like, so you didn't get a chair? And I was like, no, I didn't want one. And he was like, and plus the music's so loud, so I couldn't understand like everything he was saying to me. And he's like, well, here you go. Go get you a better seat. And I'm like confused. And he gives us these 2 little wristbands. And he's like, go to the VIP section. So I'm like confused on the VIP section. What are you talking about? And there's like these, in the middle, there's like these rental chairs in the front called the VIP lawn section. So in the middle of the song, that 4th song or 5th song, whatever it was, we go up to the other security guard and I'm like, is this where we're supposed to be? Like the security guard gave us upgrade. He's like, yes, you're at the right place. So we sat in the back and I was even closer to the stage than I was before, so I was getting even more better pictures than I did, which was so fantastic. And I was like super excited because like this night that wasn't even supposed to happen to me was like, I know I'm sounding so dramatic, but it's so true. Like the events were just adding up. I was just so like thankful that all of these things were happening to me. First I get free concert tickets, then I get a free upgrade. Like I was just amazed and so thankful. So all his songs were amazing. I love every single Niall song. He played Night Changes from One Direction, which I knew he was going to sprinkle a little One Direction in. I just didn't know what song he was going to do. At the 2018 concert, he did Fool's Gold. This time he done Night Changes, and that's one of my favorite songs. And he sprinkled, what I loved was, for this concert, he sprinkled in the show, the 3rd album, the newest album. He sprinkled in Heartbreak Weather album because that album came out in 2020 before the pandemic. Like around the time the pandemic was happening, it came out, so he wasn't able to have a tour for that. So to sprinkle in songs from that album was just so amazing. I think he did about 3 or 4 songs from that album, and then he sprinkled in, if you didn't get to go see him for his Flickr tour in 2018, he sprinkled in some of his first album. So you got all 3 albums live. At least 2 or 3 songs from each album, which was amazing. And I just had so much fun. I screamed, I cried, I was sweating a lot. I felt like I was on stage. I am a singer myself. I sing with the praise team at my church, so I know what it's like, the adrenaline and everything when you're performing and like just pouring out your heart and soul. So I felt like I was on stage with him. Not to mention it was an outside venue, so it was definitely hot there. We were so blessed with not having any rain. It was supposed to rain, and I was like very worried because the PNC Music Pavilion is live whether it's rain or shine. There's not really any shelter there except if you get like the very, very expensive seats in the very, very front. So I was like always worried that whole week that it was going to rain, and I was like, I told myself, you know what, Landry, you can't do nothing about the weather. This is a once in a lifetime experience. You need to live in the moment and not worry about anything. Just have a great time. And that's what I did, and we got lucky. There was no rain. It had rained at my house 2 hours before we were going to the concert. And I live, like I said, an hour and 35 minutes away from Charlotte. So whatever it's doing here usually moves to Charlotte. So 2 hours later it's doing what it was here to Charlotte, depending on the storm track. So I was like, we're gonna like drive right into the rain. We didn't. There was a bunch of storm clouds, but it did not rain one time while being there. The sun was out in the clouds and it was humid, but you know, it's a hot summer day in North Carolina. So I mean, I didn't know what to think because I figured we were going to be hot and sweaty. And the concert ended about around 11-ish. In the pitch dark, looking for our car. I had this is like gonna be one of the things I'll remember. I get super nauseous when I eat too much in hot heat, so I was afraid I'd get sick to my stomach. So I saved some French fries in the car. So at 11:30 at night, I had soggy French fries as my quote midnight snack. So that was delish, I guess. And on the way home, we had the radio full blast. my favorite radio station, because thanks to them I would not be able to tell the story of getting to see him and Niall in Charlotte. So yeah, that was my little breakdown of June 5th, one of the best nights. videos than the last one because I wanted to take in the moment. I did not want to miss a single detail. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoy. If you would like, please drop a like on this video and subscribe so you can get to see more videos similar to this or more photography content if that's what you're into. Leave a comment if you'd like regarding this video. If you have any questions or if you have any photography questions, I can try to answer to the best I can. And yeah, I don't know if there's going to be a fixed schedule. I don't have that plan. Like, I'm not saying I'm going to film every single day, once a week, once a month. I really don't know. Like I said, I made this channel to have not only for you to get to know me a little bit better as a photographer and as a person, but also to have these memories to look back on in the future. So I can see, oh, like June 5th, this is what I did. And oh, I went on this trip. That was pretty fun. So yeah, don't know when I'll be filming again, but I hope you enjoyed this video. And I hope everybody has an amazing day, amazing week. And I will see you again sometime, hopefully soon. Take care.